Hello, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Running in Circles podcast. In today's episode, we'll talk about something interesting. We'll talk about something that people don't usually talk about. Joining me in this episode are, the core committee of the Running in Circles podcast planning. So, joining in this episode, please welcome Jayanth.
Hi, Pallav, hi everybody.
Hi. We also have Piyush joining us.
Hi guys.
Hi. So in today's episode, as people and individuals, we always talk about things which we are good at, but we so rarely acknowledge that all of us have a few shortcomings as well, and we all deal with our own problems as well. So we'll talk about some problems which we all face as a generation, not just personal problems, but of course, we'll share some personal anecdotes that can make this episode more relatable in a way. So, to start off the episode, what is something that you guys, struggle with or like have trouble dealing with? To talk about me, like I worry a lot, man. Like I worry, I'm a big time worrier. Like I worry about the future. I worry about, you know, the efforts that I've put.
Past. The past as well.
Yeah, I worry about the past. I worry about what may happen. And I'm sure you guys know me for like a lot of years now. So do you guys remember the day after the graduation that you guys had called for laser tag, but I said, no thanks. I would
Yeah.
rather.
Like we
had
we
a lot of
all
fun
were
that day,
making a
Palli.
plan.
Yeah.
All of us had got two cars. Everyone was ready. All of us thought we'll go have
I
laser
don't think
tag
we're
and then
supposed to
go
reveal
have
that.
dinner.
Not supposed to. We really
That's
got
fine.
cars.
That's fine. Hey, it's okay. So, and then all of a sudden, like Pala was like, no, I'm not gonna come. I'm not gonna come. Then we were like, why? But it's the last day of school.
Yeah. So that time it wasn't, again, of course I considered you as friends back then, but it wasn't like, are chalo, I need to spend time with friends. That time it was purely because, oh my god, there is board exams in like 2-3 weeks from now, and I really have to worry about that, and I really shouldn't spend any time hanging out. So that time it was
So you
like
just
all
went
these.
back home and started studying for board exams after graduation.
Probably, I don't even remember, but that was the actions which I did that time were purely because big time warrior, and
Yeah.
and these things still keep coming back sometimes. Like, of course, like the more as you grow up, the stakes just get higher, and you know there is more and more at stake. So, what do you guys think? What are some other things that we all struggle with?
Although, first of all, I'd like to ask you one question. For a
Yeah.
person who's worrying so much all the time, how do you have such good hair?
Oh,
Please tell us
you
the
think I have
secret.
good hair? I thanks for that, but the hairline is receding, man. We're all, growing up. We all have the Indian trait of pattern
Yeah.
baldness.
Medically, we have male pattern baldness.
Yeah, so man, it's good that the hair is good for now, but it's definitely receding.
Yeah.
Let's hope it will be there later.
Yeah.
Of course.
We'll just
Don't-
pray that
yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
we have now is what it stays till the end.
Yeah, hopefully.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
So, what else do you get as a generation we all struggle and suffer with?
I agree with you on, worrying all the time and all that. But then at the same time, you're not supposed to miss out on everything else just because you're worrying about something. So that is, I would say, no, you might regret the most in your life later on. But
Yeah.
as far as I've seen you from the past few years, you
Yeah.
haven't actually reduced the worrying, but you're coming out and, enjoying yourself a little more.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Being
that
part
is
of
true.
the
Like
group.
Pallav from Cambridge and Pallav now is an entirely different Pallav.
Yeah.
Pallav,
Like,
tell us when was your the first time you came for sleepover?
Yeah. Oh man, we don't have to talk about
no,
that.
no, no.
We don't
The
have to
first
get
time,
that personal, man. Oh my
the
God.
first time you by
Yeah,
yourself were
Yeah.
we
convinced
first.
that I will go to a sleepover and your parents allowed.
Yeah. We don't have to get into the age or date or anything, guys. I think it's enough. I had a sleepover pretty late
But it's
compared to
fairly
like,
recent, okay? We are all 25 now, almost
we don't
25
have to
now.
get into the age.
So yeah,
Yeah.
like
Mm,
worrying is important. Like evolutionarily,
Hmm.
worrying is what has kept animals alive.
Yeah.
If you are not worried, then you won't. But then that's what. Now there's a spectrum to worrying, right? There's a healthy amount of worrying, and then there
Yeah.
is a toxic worrying.
Yeah. Like healthy amount of worrying is what is like the worrying that pushes you to do the work.
Exactly. Like, oh my God, I got to meet this deadline. So let me
Mm,
get this started and do the
mm,
work. That is healthy
mm,
worrying.
mm,
Now, toxic worrying would be, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? The deadline's tomorrow. I haven't started. What do I do? I cannot think anything.
mm,
That is toxic worrying. You don't get into
and
a
you
spiral.
mm,
you start worrying about what will happen if I don't do this work, rather than you keep thinking about okay, if I
mm.
don't do this, what will happen next, what will happen next, and you just keep on going till the end.
Exactly. You spend the rest of the time just worrying about the problem rather than
Yeah.
solving it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we
Correct.
just got to learn in life how to get to know the right method of worrying,
Mm.
I would say. That's it. So yeah,
It's
what
always
else?
good to worry, as you said.
It is good to worry, but
Hmm.
too much worrying is what I do. Um,
How do
what
how do you what do you do when you worry too much? How do you like reset
so
yourself after
so
worrying
so
too much?
you know so there's this Hindi saying, "Khali dimag shaitan ka ghar."
okay.
So sometimes when you're just again just lying in your bed and like trying to do the work, but you're unable to because you're worrying. So basically, you have no thoughts that time. So by default, your mind just gets into a big spiral, and like I to become quite negative about things if I start worrying. For example, one big struggle which I had for the past 6 months was getting a job. So at that time, I became very, what do you say? I went into my own shell. So like I stopped playing video games with you guys, and you know I was worrying so much that I started thinking that I'm not good enough and things like that. um so yeah, this is how I deal. This is how I act when I'm worrying.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I can relate to you on that topic, because coming to the problems, one of the major problems that I face, like I have been facing,
Hmm.
till now, and like still face, is mainly
Hmm.
sticking to a right discipline, staying disciplined. Keep
Hmm.
doing same thing again and again and again.
Hmm.
It is tough. It has been tough for me my whole life.
Hmm.
So, of that, many things have changed around me and all that. So I keep,
Hmm.
thinking about how do I stay part of, be disciplined and stick to one routine every day.
Hmm.
So for me, I realized from, all this what I have faced, I mean, many people have, like, what do you say, you might know, like, first year, like starting of the year, I'll take gym membership, I'll go whole year,
Oh yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
stick to this routine,
We've all been
you
there.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, and it's not just like big things or big changes in your life. Even the
Hmm.
small changes make a lot of difference, right?
Yeah.
So it has been tough for me to maintain all those small differences.
Hmm.
But if I have to say, how do I deal with all this? I would have to say, I realize that there is a limit to how much I can, do. Like, I can maintain discipline for this amount of time.
Hmm.
So after I realized that, it has helped me a lot,
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
if you have to have somebody who doesn't like doing the same thing again and again, like
Hmm.
repeating, keeping stick, like keep sticking to it. So what I realized was, you know maybe my timeline of, like, for me it is 2 months. if I can do something, I will do very strictly for 2 months easily.
Yeah.
After 2 months, it will become tough for me
Normal.
to stick to it. Yeah, not normal in a sense. I still remember what I've been doing, but there are some times during the discipline also you have to take like cheat days and all that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, so when I get into that phase, it
Yeah.
again need resets and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
what I figured out was that after the 2 months, I'll have my whatever cheat days, and instead of coming back into the same routine, I'll try to find a new routine. I find come up with a different routine, but the underlining things that I do, like sleeping on time or sleeping for these many hours and all.
Yeah.
So, and I've been living with Piyush like from past 2.5 2 years, and
Yeah.
I see him. He
Yeah.
is on point, like to everything. Like get up
Yeah.
this step, leave this step. We
Oh,
have
is
to,
it?
we are doing something. He keeps,
That's
like everything he does according to, he sets his mind to it and he does it.
that's crazy.
So,
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I've also struggled with routines, right? Till like, I mean, I won't say I've mastered it or something, but I can definitely say that in the past 1 year or in the past, let's say 2 3 years, since like final year of college, I've kind of gotten a habit of building healthy routines. Because how do you build a routine? First, you got to know what is important to you.
yeah.
Because that's what you need to give priority to. Because if you don't know, like you got to first plan, right? Because if you don't know, you can't plan. And if you don't plan, then you've already failed 50% of the way. So that's what in the past 1 year or 1.5 year, because I've been just staying at home and studying for my master's. Uh, I've been trying different kinds of routines. Like I've also not been so strict as what Jayant says. But like I've also gone through 3 4 different routines and in between failed many times, and it's been difficult. Like there are some days where just opening your eyes and getting off the bed is difficult, and then
Oh,
there are other days
yeah.
where you're like super motivated and you get up at
Yeah.
6 o'clock and you just start studying.
Yeah. I think that's
So
a interesting thing that you said about motivation. Like, motivation is the best thing that can happen, but it's unrealistic to be motivated all the time, right?
that is true. And it's really
So,
difficult to get the motivation as well. That is one
yeah.
thing that I'm sure everyone struggles with almost
Hmm.
every single day, because every
Hmm.
single day you got to push yourself, right? Some
Yeah.
days it's easier, some days it's very difficult.
Yeah. Again, motivation is like, again, I wouldn't say temporary thing. It comes in phases, it goes away in phases. Like, it's hard to be motivated all the time. It's hard to,
That is,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
dream all the time. But when motivation is tough, self-discipline is what gets you through, right? Like, you
Yeah.
don't feel like studying, but discipline is what, you're in a way you're convincing yourself to study, and you know that's what
discipline, that's all.
ultimately.
That's why I didn't tell, I don't motivate. I said discipline because whatever you're facing at any point during that time, you should be able to do it either way. And you're not able to do, you don't feel like doing. Because
Yeah.
you have to add the days where, some days in your discipline, like during your routine, the days where you won't do anything. Because all the reactions or emotions that you have throughout your day or, to your month or however long it is, you have to add those days into the routine you're doing. That way, it will help me, like it has helped me at least, whenever there is a lazy day. So I usually keep Sundays. So you talk, I think when he was preparing and I was going to job, uh, like there used to be Sundays where we just lie in front of each other, scroll Instagram for half
That's
the
all.
day,
Do
then
nothing else.
order
Yeah,
food.
we'll just be next to each other. It doesn't matter what we're doing. We'll just be like, okay, company is there. We will do what we want. It's a
Yeah,
lazy day.
Or
We don't
we
have
will
to
do
talk.
exactly.
nothing.
We don't have to
Yeah.
watch anything. We don't
We are
have to go
literally,
anywhere.
we are not even interacting much. Like if I see some funny meme or reel, I would
Then
show it
you.
to him.
Hmm.
He would show it to me.
Yeah.
Then
Oh, that's, yeah,
only
best
decision,
sort of company, right?
only decision
Yeah,
we had to take during those times was what are we gonna do for lunch or dinner?
And
yeah.
are we cooking or are we ordering? Simple
Exactly.
Yeah,
questions.
there is always a rescuer for us, Harsha. He used to just
Yeah.
come down home, like come, let's go out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like, how
We'll
do
be
you just
wondering
put
what
on
to
a
do,
dress?
what to do, what to do, and then Harsha will give a call. He's like, let's go out.
Yeah.
Problem
Okay,
solved.
cool.
Problem solved.
We're like, okay, we're going out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on the
Uh,
topic of
So,
motivation, it's like for me personally, ambition is a very
mm,
big factor.
mm,
Definitely, a lot of people are there, but then like you can definitely see, right? There are some uh, overachievers, there are underachievers, then
mm,
there's uh, like really smart people, and I won't say really dumb people, but like people who don't put the effort.
mm.
That is what, like, because everyone is capable.
Yeah. Everyone has potential.
So that's what you gotta have the ambition. So there are days where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be the best doctor, I'm gonna be a surgeon, I'm gonna go every day, we're gonna do 36-hour shifts, I'm gonna save lives. And then there are other days like, why am I even doing this?
Oh, yeah, man. So
Right? We
relatable.
all have
Yeah.
those days.
Yeah.
What are we even doing here?
Yeah.
Why am I putting so much effort? And
Yeah.
then you
is it
see, like in the news, like doctors are getting beaten up. That is such a huge
Yeah.
like let down
Let
for
down.
us, and that breaks our ambition, right?
like
Yeah.
whatever it is,
You
it
want to
makes you
do a
feel
lot of
like
things.
it makes you feel like, is it really worth it? How much
Yeah.
I'm
That.
doing, all the effort I'm putting. So it makes you
Yeah.
question yourself a lot.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
got to balance it out also, because you can have high ambitions and you can reach them, but then would you be living the life that you wanted?
That's what. Yeah.
And the other end of the spectrum is you have low ambitions and you have a pretty chill life, but then is that again what you wanted, or did you want to put in the effort and get more? Because when you don't achieve something, you feel like, Chah, I should have worked
I should
harder.
have put in.
I
Yeah.
could have
That's
been
what.
there. I could have been doing what that guy is doing. I could have earned
Yeah.
more money.
Yeah.
So it's you always got to find the balance, like how
Yeah.
Thanos said, right? Everything has to be perfectly
Whoosh,
balanced.
whoosh.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I relate to what you say. In your in the field of doctors, doctors getting beaten up is pretty horrible. But to talk about the in my situation, so right now it's like all the news and all the stats you're hearing about unemployment is just so terrible. Like, uh, you know, like the market in the US, it is always great. There are always people who want to hire students, who want to give them jobs. It's like a very big, what do you say, piece of the market. But
Yeah.
right now, all you're hearing is just bad news and bad news. Like, they're not hiring, they're firing people. Even when they
Exactly. I
hire,
don't really get it. Like I've not understood this concept of how are so many people getting laid off when on the other side there are so many jobs vacant everywhere. Like
yeah,
there aren't enough people to do something, and then everyone is getting fired. What is going on?
So
yeah,
that is a
uh,
different problem, right? Because people or companies are usually looking for people who are qualified enough. The people that are getting laid off is a different issue. That, as you told, there is that balance, right? So which is only not on our side, that maybe I can do all this and maybe I can't do any of this. The same way people that are outside in the world are like, you know, same. Like half of them are doing it, half of them are not able to do it, and because of that only these things happen. Like
yeah,
doctors getting beaten up, but some places doctors are saving lives and people are thinking him or her as a god. All that.
yeah.
So the there is a spectrum outside the whole world as well.
Hmm. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what. So,
not
I mean,
only us thinking. That's the whole thing.
that's what. So it's when you hear these, stories that again you start questioning yourself. Why did I even come to the US? I could have nicely just stayed back in India. I had a good job back in India. I could have continued. I would have been around my friends. I could have spent time with them.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know. So it's days. It's those negative days that you question yourself. That why am I pursuing this ambition? I could have just chosen my happiness. Um, and things like that.
Also,
Um,
our
But
Asian competitive spirit also sometimes plays into it, right? You'll see,
yeah.
like, when, like, right now, I'm just sitting at home. I've not really done anything that I can proudly say that, yeah, I've done this, then that's why I'm a doctor. I've not really done it. I've not gotten into the world yet. But I see so many people who have finished their MBBS, like in my batch itself, and gone to the US, and they've done They have started their residencies. So like they had a good plan. They stuck to the plan. They followed the method and they achieved what they wanted. But then again, I didn't plan that properly. Maybe I could have also done it. Maybe not. Who knows? But I didn't plan it. So again, I told
Yeah.
right, 50% failed.
Yeah.
So I didn't plan it. And then now when I see them, I feel like, oh, I wish I would have worked harder.
Yeah.
So
Similar,
that's
like,
a recurring problem that we all
yeah.
have, right?
Yeah, like when you see people around you of the same age, buying cars, close to buying homes.
Exactly.
Of course, you're happy for them, but like little bit, it should sting you also, right? Like, you should have put in the effort,
Yeah, like
should
in
have.
my whole friend group, I
Hmm.
haven't earned a single rupee by working. Because
Okay.
even in my internship, it was an unpaid internship.
Hmm.
I have literally not earned anything, and everyone in my friend group has had a job or is still having jobs, or sorry, are still having jobs, and they have progressed through it as well. Like, I don't know their take on it, if they are happy or sad, or is that where they want it to be, but
Hmm.
they are somewhere.
Hmm.
Definitely. So this
But
is a personal problem to me that I see
hmm.
that how people have progressed in their life. They have reached another stage and I'm still lacking behind
I wouldn't
because I
say you're
have not
lacking
had
behind.
a
I
job,
just
right?
think like your
No, he's
timeline is
talking about how
different.
he's. Sorry,
Yeah.
he's talking about his
Yeah, it's just
feeling,
a personal
Yeah.
problem. It might
Yeah.
not
because
be an actual
he,
problem.
yeah,
Hmm.
because I'm
It's what
pretty
I
sure he
feel.
also knows that
Hmm.
he has time because he knows it is not his time, and he knows, definitely knows.
Yeah.
But these are all the things we worry
Yeah.
about
It
as
just runs
Yeah.
through your
when
mind, right? It just
Yeah.
comes to your mind, it
when
goes. Like
during
there
Yeah.
are days like, yeah, I'm studying, I'm still studying. I gotta work
Yeah.
and like I still have 3 more years of
Yeah.
postgraduate degree. Like
Yeah.
everyone in our group hasn't really gotten a postgraduate degree, right? Everyone's
Yeah.
not aiming for that as well. Some people are giving something more importance, some people are giving something else more importance.
Yeah.
So it's
That's what. So
there.
like your timeline is different, right? Like you're going to become a doctor. So
Exactly. Some
you
days
will
I just
start.
feel like, yeah, my timeline is
hey
different.
Pallav,
And other
he's already a doctor,
days,
Pallav.
Yeah, sorry, he's gonna
He's
be
doing
it
practicing.
happens.
He
It
he's
happens.
going to
It
be.
happens. Like almost
Yeah.
everyone who I tell that I finished my MBBS, they'll ask me, so what is your specialty? And I'll be like, MBBS is a basic doctor. You go through all the specialties and then you do a master's degree to get your specialty. So then
Yeah.
they're like, oh, so you're not a doctor yet. And
Yeah.
then I
You're
like
going to
some people who
practice.
I
Yeah.
yeah, some people who I feel like are like, okay, if I tell them all of this, they will understand. But then there are others I just keep quiet and be like, yeah, I still gotta study. Like everywhere I go, I still put my occupation as student. Even though I have an undergraduate degree and I can work, I still put my occupation as student. And
Yeah.
I don't even write my like initials as Dr. Piyush Panigrahi. I'm still a Mister.
Okay. So you will practice being. I mean, you'll practice in hospitals eventually. Like your plan is to still study, right?
Yeah.
That's what.
So another problem that I commonly see other people and myself
Hmm.
face issues with is the image we are trying to portray to people. Like, let's say you are trying to be kind to someone,
Mm.
but the way you portray it
Mm.
is not reaching them. Like, effective communication is not there.
Yeah.
So the
Mm.
other person perceives it as being rude or being, let's
Oh,
say, what's the word? I'm not getting the
direct.
word. Yeah, direct, being frank. Wait,
Mm.
recently there's a word on Wordle also that means something like this called
Yeah.
terse, Terse.
Okay.
So it means being very frank and like concise, which comes off as rude.
Oh, absolutely relatable.
That's it. So it's
Yeah.
not exactly rude. So that's what I
Mm.
usually have that problem. One thing is because of the way I speak.
Mm.
I usually speak loud, and people have told that I have a very commanding and authoritative voice. So people
Okay.
usually think I'm scolding them,
Uh,
even though I'm just trying to tell something and this is my voice. I'm just being loud.
uh,
People
yeah.
usually think I'm scolding them. Like right now, what I am and the loudness or the
the way you're
restlessness
talking.
that
Mm.
I've I you see right now
Yeah.
was much more in school. You guys know.
We know. Yeah.
You can say I'm a little more tame now. It's
Yeah.
because of this thing only. Many people have said.
Huh.
Because after 10th grade, I won't disclose the names, but after 10th grade, I met a mutual friend of ours,
Mm.
and that person told that uh, many people, like a particular group in the class, was scared
Mm.
of me.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, they
I think I
told
was a part of that group.
no, outright told that this group of people in the class are scared of me.
Uh,
Okay,
yeah.
I would probably be scared of me too.
Yeah.
If I was in someone else's shoes. But I don't know. I didn't mean it in that way, at
Yeah.
least
Mm-hmm.
during
Yeah.
school. Or I don't mean it now also.
Yeah.
Sometimes definitely I do get angry,
Mm.
but I have worked on it forever, since forever, on
Yeah,
anger
one
issues.
like
But
let's play one video game with Harsha and all that anger will come back.
No, but nowadays you see, no matter what happens, I don't really say anything. Because again,
Yeah.
you get to that point where if the other person does not want,
Yeah.
like why am I getting angry at someone because they are doing a mistake in my eyes,
Yeah.
and they are repeating that mistake again and again even after telling normally. So that's why I get angry and I'll shout at that person. But then if that person does not want to change, what is the point? So I just stay
Yeah.
calm now. But then
Yeah.
now again we get into the dilemma that what kind of image are we trying to show them? Are
Yeah.
we trying to show them a caring image or a I don't care, whatever happens. Like you
Oh,
can do whatever you
yeah.
want.
that's
Yeah.
So
the
that's a dilemma, right?
constant battle. Should we, because what we think is right
Is
in
different
our
from how it is
mind,
perceived,
yeah,
right?
exactly
Yeah.
right, as you said. So, like, should we educate that person regarding, see, this is not how it is, or whatever you're dealing with, or should we just, let it be, let them learn? But
Yeah.
if we are close friends,
Yeah.
but we don't really leave anybody like that. As like
Yeah.
considering our
Oh,
group,
yeah.
there have been many situations, right?
Hmm.
Whatever, like let it be, let that person do whatever they want. It's their life.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
they are part of our life, and we'll also be part of their life. We are all
Hmm.
stuck together with each other. We have been friends from school,
Oh,
and I'm
yeah.
pretty sure we're going to be friends for life. I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course,
No,
man.
no,
So,
when I'm
and
trying to tell something to someone, I'm not trying to be condescending, but
hmm,
the reply that I get, it's like, oh, don't act all high and mighty. You don't
not
know
like
everything.
Yeah.
only everything. It's not like we don't know what I've gone through, all
Yeah.
that drama.
That's not what I'm trying to portray, but then maybe the way I said it, like being loud, being terse,
Yeah.
it's coming off to them like that. So that's
Hmm.
what and it's very difficult for me to be in their shoes and then listen. So sometimes I try to, like, when I say something, I try to recall in my head how I said it and think from the other person's perspective, like, how would they have heard it and felt?
Yeah. Correct.
Like,
Yeah.
very rarely I
Empathy.
do,
Hmm.
yeah, very rarely I do, like, notice, like, oh my God, I could have handled this better.
Hmm. Yeah.
And then again, we get into the problem, like, how do we approach that again to say sorry?
Yeah.
That's
So
not what I
similar,
meant.
yeah. So similar to what you said, as you said, you are, loud and, the tone is portraying a different image, right? So personally, for me, like, um, people have had this opinion, and again, they're all, people who have the best interest for me in mind. They have told me that, are the way you speak or like the words I use, that comes off pretty rude. For example, if somebody is trying to make a plan, I would say, let's see. Okay. The term let's see basically means, let's
Yeah,
figure
you're
it
not
out.
sure.
You're not sure, but let's figure it out eventually.
Let's get more details and then we can
Yeah.
make a more solid
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah. But, people have told me that that comes off as rude. It portrays that, you're not
Yeah, basically, see, people think
enthusiastic.
like it is basically, let's see always means no. There has
Yeah.
become
Like you're not
image has
being,
been created. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like if
you're
you're
not,
not saying yes, that means it's a no.
it's
yeah.
no.
You're
Yeah.
like, I'm not being enthusiastic enough for the plan. And another thing which I keep saying is, do whatever you want. I just mean that, huh,
Yeah,
please do what.
that is very difficult to portray through text because it's like
Yeah.
you can be like, yeah, we can do whatever you want, or go do whatever you want.
Yeah. So again, this, okay, this all happens probably through text-based communication. So again, so that, I'm to like a calling person, because, the way, I mean, like, I know I don't express myself very well through text. So even when in a call, I say, yeah, let's do whatever you want. Okay, that's the way I mean it. But the way it's portrayed is, "Arey, do whatever you want."
Mm.
So,
Like like when you are thinking about others' perspective on the
mm,
other side, they feel like you're not enthusiastic enough, and
mm,
you don't want to do all that as you
mm,
said, right?
mm,
So that is always going to be there. You either have to find a different sentence or something for let's do whatever
yeah,
you want.
yeah. आप जैसा चाहो वैसा करेंगे. Maybe you should type that.
No, I think
I mean,
usually in these type of situations you can be a little more like involved, because if you just end
yeah,
at do whatever you want, it feels like you're telling it
you're
in an
leaving it to
aggressive
that
tone.
person.
But
I'm only doing
let's
it because
say,
you want
yeah,
to
yeah,
do it.
let's say you say like it's up to you. If you want to do this, we can do this.
Mm,
If you don't want
yeah.
to do, let's not do it. See,
Mm,
this is a little more passive, so it does not
mm,
sound too bad.
mm.
Because if
So
you're
these
Best is
minor
saying,
adjustments.
best is like Hindi replies. आप जैसा चाहो वैसा करेंगे.
Wow,
You're not.
it's beautiful. It's so
It's beautiful.
respectful.
You're so respectful. Nobody's getting offended.
Exactly.
English doesn't have the same meaning.
That's true.
because
Yeah.
it becomes karenge is again together, right? There's no karenge
Yeah.
part in English.
There is no karenge part.
It
Yeah. There
We
should
basically
be a
means
just
word for
that
karenge.
I'm doing what you want
exactly.
me to do. So,
It can be tu, tum, aap. In English, it's just you.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, let's do what
absolutely.
you
Yeah.
want.
Tu is bro. Aap is respect.
Exactly.
There should be words like this for English also. Respectfully yours, something like that. So
Okay.
we've discussed a few problems so far. Um, but what do you think is like how do you think is these problems different from facing criticism? For example, all the things that we've discussed so far, like it's all because we want to in a way change for our better, right? Like you want to work hard so that you get the better masters, right? I want to worry so that
Yeah.
I get the better opportunity for me. How do you think is this different from criticism, or like when people tell you that, are you should change?
Yeah, criticism is definitely a very important factor in all these problems that we've been talking, right? Because what is criticism? It's basically an analysis another person has done or you have done on yourself,
Mm.
and that has been put into a sentence, right? Now, criticism can be constructive, it can be destructive. So,
Yeah.
like, let's say you take constructive criticism, it's a very useful tool, because let's say you did a mistake, someone points that out. Maybe you think you are right,
Mm.
but in truth, it is wrong.
Mm.
So, someone needs to be there to correct you, right? You can't be like, oh, whatever I do is right.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
you got to have the like acceptance to change from within and listen to other people. So they will give you a constructive criticism and you take it with a like good attitude
Yeah.
and you work on it. That's one way. And then there's destructive criticism, like
Which is like which
ego.
fuels you. Ego.
Ego gets hurt.
Oh, you think I'm wrong? How the hell do you think I'm wrong? How the hell
Exactly.
can you think that you're wrong? How can you able to
Exactly.
think?
Let me prove it to you. Wait.
Let me
Yeah, let
prove
me
it to
prove
you.
that you are wrong.
Let me prove. Hello. Let me prove it to you. You think I'm wrong? So yeah, I mean, again, like criticism from the people who care about you, that is what you should listen to. Again, you may not agree with that also all the time, but
Yeah, definitely you wouldn't agree.
hmm,
Like people who care about us always worry about us and they want the good for us, the best for us. Correct, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
even though all this criticism, things like you might think I'm doing all this for myself and not anybody else. I don't care what they say, but what they say definitely matters. And
yeah,
you definitely think about it. How much you might disagree that I'm not going to think about it. What he said, and I don't care. I'm going to work on myself this way, that way. But you're working on yourself, and everybody would around you who care for you would be supportive, right?
yeah, yeah.
So like every time that happens, you just like feel like just take a step back, think over it, and we can move forward.
That's what. So again, like criticism, again, like as we all have our own personalities, we all have good things about us, we all have bad things about us. Of course, bad things do come out from us from time to time, and this is everybody, not just, like, nobody in the world is perfect. And people point, again, people who care about you, they will point you, these bad qualities will come out in front of them anyways, because you're being your true
If,
version of
if
themselves.
we have to say, people would be waiting for these bad qualities of you to come out, so that they have to criticize you.
Yeah,
But
uh,
like
yeah, all that.
in previous episode, sorry, previous season episodes, I've talked about these topics, like how I was perceived in my college and how I had to somehow make them like me or change. Like,
mm,
do you change for the other people, or do you just stick to yourself all the time? Because
mm,
nowadays everyone is like, oh, it's my life, I will be who I am.
and
Like
I have
everybody
full
is into
faith.
acceptance.
Yeah,
Everybody is just into acceptance. You should accept me for who I am.
yeah,
I am like
yeah.
this, you should accept me. But I I don't believe that is a very healthy trait. Definitely some things you should want other people to accept.
Yeah, we call it growing old or growing up, right?
mm,
If people are saying I am like this, only you have to deal with me. It's never gonna, work. But
mm,
like, if you want to stay, stay. You want to leave, leave. Whatever. I'm like this, only you tell. It's
mm,
not gonna
mm.
work
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I don't believe that's a
then,
healthy attitude.
yeah,
yeah, like I think you can say I'm happy with who I am, like after a point in life, like at this moment when we're
you
all
can still
like,
be working on yourself,
yeah,
and you have come so far because
mm,
we don't know what the situation is for the other person, which makes, you have to think like why they are reacting like this way. Because I don't think these things will be told by anybody outside if you're toxic.
mm,
Usually the people we are close to and all, right?
mm,
So these situations are kind of, very risky because even though in the heat of the moment they might tell like that, but both of them have to sit and talk it out together after the thing has happened also. Because
mm,
what
yeah,
might have, motivated them to tell like that? Because that is when you start growing together.
Yeah,
mm,
like Jayant used the word growth, right?
mm,
Mm.
So it's all interlinked. Like I was talking about the problem of the image you want to portray.
mm,
So you will tell something, and then they will be like, "You have to accept me for who I am." So the sense of the word growth is just lost.
yeah, like growth won't happen if you think you're happy again, like if you say that this is who I am, this is how I am,
Yeah, you can't just
you
always
can't,
be
we
like,
won't grow then. Mm,
everyone just has to accept however I am. This is me.
yeah, this is me,
You
yeah,
should have that introspection to know when you are right, when you are wrong. You need to
mm,
make the
yeah,
appropriate decisions.
yeah, and it's
Listen to
so,
people
yeah.
also.
And admitting mistakes is like super rare.
Exactly, or else society won't work, right? There's no more
Yeah,
society if everyone's just like,
Right.
oh, this is me, accept.
yeah,
We are just robots after that.
yeah. That's what. Um, like
But
all
yeah,
this.
as you said, at the end of the day, whatever people tell or how much ever people talk about us, it's always for us. We are getting better and we are growing for
Hmm,
ourselves,
like
not
they
for
have,
somebody else.
yeah, like they have
But
your best.
doing it with people, growing with them, that is nice,
Hmm, that's what. So
right?
again, it's the same thing. Like parents telling you that you're not doing something right here. Of course, as when we were all younger, it was super infuriating. Like, Are, I don't want to do this. We're all like being rebels in a way. But now it's you take the feedback slightly better. You're like, okay, I see your point. I will work on it.
Exactly. Back then, parents will be like, "Don't do this." Then we'll be like, "Oh, how can you
Yeah,
say
Not
like
telling you
that?"
not
So I
to.
will do
yeah.
this.
My life, my rules.
But then nowadays, when parents tell you something, you are more mindful. Like, okay, why are they saying it? They
Hmm.
might be
Hmm.
speaking from experience.
Huh. Yeah.
So now
So,
we make more
hmm.
conscious decisions rather
Hmm.
than our immature selves, where, oh, how can they tell me
Yeah.
that I am wrong?
Yeah.
You
So,
told no, I'll do this only.
yeah. That's what. So, to talk about a small story here, one big criticism that my family has always had about me is me not getting involved much in, like, relatives matter. I keep
Yeah,
telling
yeah,
them,
I still don't get involved. My father always
yeah,
gives
like
me like
slack for it. Yeah.
he doesn't cut me slack for it. He's
So
always like, you have to get involved. This is family.
yeah, that's what. So I keep telling them that, for me, family is anything, is the generation after grandfather. Beyond that, chacha, chachi, all that, uncles,
Extended
brothers,
family.
extended family, all that, again, like all that, I won't be able to handle in the future. I can't handle it now also. Okay. I
It,
keep
it
telling
is
them that,
true. Mm,
then they'll
yeah,
say the
exactly.
same thing, which is, Are, ladka bigad gaya, and all that. Okay. So
Mm.
now I am being more mindful. Again, I still don't agree with that. I still don't want to get involved, but the rare moments that I have to get involved, I do get involved. I do ask them that, okay, how
Mm.
are they doing? How, you know, have
Yeah,
they been discharged from
as
hospital
that's
and
what
anything like that?
you said, right? When we grow, we stop to think what they're saying is right or not.
Mm,
So it kind of becomes like we realize that our parents also are, not the best. Everything, whatever they do is right. Because
mm,
whatever they're doing for their generation, our uncles and, our families, their extended families or whatever they have, were their part. So their
mm. Like it's
decisions
important
would
to
influence
them.
them. Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
So in future, when we have kids, right, I would want my kids to, get to know your kids, and since we are all best friends, I consider, we are all a family
mm,
as well. So
mm,
my kids and your kids will be best friends, right? So
mm,
the decisions that me and Piyush or you and me in the future take, you would want, you would say to my kids, or I would say something to your kids. We
mm,
want them to mingle with everybody as well.
mm.
So that's the only point they would say, like when you stop and think about why they're saying like things like that.
Yeah, that's
So
what.
it's like I've become like, I've always like think from each side all the time. That is one thing I've gained after, all this dealing with everything.
Yeah. Anyways, so let's wrap up this episode now. We talked about all the problems that we face, and the stories behind it. Um, how do you think is this, like, why is this problem recurring? Like, and what are the solutions for it? Like, I'm just gonna ask you guys a very simple question. What do you think is the solution to worrying?
Uh, for me, I think it's just don't worry. I know that seems
Yeah.
so like such a useless
Cliche.
answer. Yeah, exactly. But then
Yeah.
what else do you say to a person who's worrying? Like, definitely you can support them, you can be there for them. But then at the end of the day, they just need to stop worrying.
Yeah. So, of course, I've heard this solution from multiple people, multiple times as well. You know, I get super sad about when things don't go into my way, and I start worrying that, and I start doubting myself. I didn't put enough efforts. That's why I didn't get the results which I wanted. And people tell me the same thing all the time. Don't worry. But recently, a conscious effort which I'm trying to look at is looking at things for the better, and
Because yeah,
looking at
you
sadness in
feel
a way. Continue, Jan.
no, I was just saying, like don't worry, but yeah, when we think about like that, it's like you think about what and all we have done up till this point, which
Mm,
we have reached to this point. You have worried so much and reached till this point. There's a whole
mm,
path, right? So that
mm,
time you should think about all that, and it should make you feel like, okay, let's take it lightly. We have worked so far,
mm.
just take it a step back, wait and go.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Take it lightly. You don't have, because you should never stop worrying. If you stop
Yeah.
worrying, everything is still will become babas.
That's what, like
Like
we
Yeah.
told in the
go to
start, right? You got to figure out the method of healthy
Mm,
worrying. That
yeah.
is the solution.
Mm.
That is the
That
actual solution.
that's what. So recently, a change which I'm trying to actively work into, or like actively think about, is looking at, what do you say, any bad thing for something good that will happen eventually. For example, again, like, you guys know me. I was
Mm.
I was very depressed after, you know, 12th grade, the whole cycle of exams and everything. Because, I thought, 4 years of efforts and not getting my goal, I was like completely broken. But now, now that so much time has passed, almost 6 7 years, more than that, in fact, I look at that and think that, array, whatever happened back then was because I could get up to here. And whenever things don't go my way now, it's all because that, something good will come to me eventually. For example, if I don't, simple thing, like if I don't get this job, then I'm sure I, like, the reason why I didn't get this job is because something else is waiting for me in the future. That is how I try to look at things now. Again, it's super hard to look at things this way, but
I mean,
this is
it is
one way that,
hard.
yeah, like this is one way to that
Yeah.
I've started dealing with worrying.
I believe
You
one
know,
of
you
the other
can.
solutions for worrying is
Mm.
I've seen many people worry about things that are not in their control.
Oh,
What are you going to do
you
worrying
said it
about
good.
them?
Yeah, good. Mm.
Like, I'll give you the example of my exam only. My exam has been postponed so many times, but what am I going to do about it?
Yeah.
What is the point of me worrying when the exam date is, how are they going to conduct it, etc., etc.,
Mm.
because I don't control that.
Mm. Yeah,
What I
focusing
can
on
control
mm,
is me studying.
efforts. Yeah.
Exactly. You can't spend your time worrying like, oh my God, the exam's not coming. What will I do? What will
Mm.
I do? And then not study.
Mm.
So that's
That's
what.
what.
One major solution is don't focus on things you cannot control.
Mm.
Instead, focus on things that you can.
Mm.
Worry about them in a healthy manner
Mm.
and work towards like
Mm.
productive goal.
Mm.
That's it. That's it.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
when you asked me, you said right, like I just if things are not going my way, I would think like, okay, there is something better in the future and all that. So I would say that is a great thing that okay, this is not going my way. Okay, there might be something better. If you like, I can add to that saying, if you stop anticipating when that good thing is going to come, that would be like a huge, help.
Mm.
Right? Like, and
Yeah.
when to talk about my discipline,
Mm.
I told you right, I have problem maintaining the routine, what I
Yeah.
want to do, and all.
Mm.
So my discipline, how I see it is, I will do it how long ever I can, and after trying it out for so many years, for trying to maintain a healthy diet, go to gym, and all that. So it's like the major part was sticking to it continuously, being consistent, and once you take a break or something like that, getting back into the routine.
Oh, yeah. Mm.
That is the toughest
Just
part.
starting again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like,
That is
again,
the biggest.
if you want to, what do you say, gain weight or lose weight, then the only thing that you have to is to start going to gym. Then, try to maintain discipline. That's how you'll overcome problems.
Because when you are trying to start a routine, like change a whole different, like get into a different whole lifestyle, there are many things that we have to change, right? So when you have to do that big of a change, it gets really, overwhelming that I have to do all this. So what I do is I just do it. Okay, this week I'll like keep it like if I'm going to do it for 2 months, I'll start off first week only with exercise. Let me just
Mm.
and I'll eat like everything else will remain the same. Only this I'll add. Then slowly I'll change my diet. Like suddenly change the whole diet. That also doesn't work, right?
Mm.
So step by step, small steps towards
Mm.
the end, it'll change. But then after 2 months again I'm going to reset because I can't continue that for a very long time. And I haven't been able to continue. That's my recurring problem, right?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I just keep resetting it and going to it. That's all. So maybe that is one way to deal with maintaining discipline. But
Mm.
reset is
Correct.
always good. It helps to find different ways to be disciplined.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for
What
the
do you?
image problems, it's nothing really much. You just gotta be a little more introspective and empathetic
Mm.
and think before you speak, I guess.
Yeah.
That's
That
it.
is basic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay then.
Yes, like when you say about image, I always remember the dialogue from Sanju, the last dialogue series on the book. Out of that, like, कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों
लोगों
का
का
काम
काम है
है
कहना.
yeah, however you try
हाँ.
to, put an image in front of people, we know,
Hmm.
like, the people around you know what you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah,
So
like you
others,
can't
you
control.
don't have to give a,
Like you can't control what other people think of you. You can control how you
yeah.
portray yourself. Maybe that helps.
When
Yeah.
the people in front of you know what you are, that is more than enough.
Huh.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, that's basically it. Let's wrap up this episode. I think the whole episode can be summed up by this one line from Gita, which is, keep putting the efforts. Don't think about the results. So whatever problem is there, just put the effort to solve it, and the solution will be taken care
Only if you
by.
know how to solve the problem, that's it.
Yeah.
If you can't do
Okay.
anything about the
We should,
problem,
and we should be content with ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Put the effort, be content. None, don't
Be
worry about the
happy.
outcome. Don't worry about the
yeah,
outcome.
it really feels like we've grown up.
Yeah.
Don't worry, be happy.
Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry. All right then. Peace. Bye.
Bye, guys.